Children, please be ready for the pledge. Place your right hand on your heart and repeat. I, Shruti Narayan, commit to be vigilant and bear in mind at all times the risk to myself and my colleagues from COVID-19. I promise to take all necessary precautions that prevent the spread of this deadly virus. I promise to follow and encourage others to follow the key COVID appropriate behaviors. To always wear a mask or face cover, especially when in a public place. To maintain a minimum distance of 6 feet from others, to wash my hands frequently and thoroughly with soap and water. Together we will win this fight against COVID-19. So in this slide, stop the spread of germs that can make you and others sick. Cover your mouth and nose with a tissue when you sneeze or cough. If you don't have a tissue, use elbow. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water. Good morning, children. In today's class, we'll study about ozone depletion, global warming, greenhouse effect, and the effects of global warming. Ozone in the upper atmosphere is a major factor in making life on Earth possible. Ozone is a form of oxygen that is present in the Earth's atmosphere in small amounts. Ordinary oxygen molecules have 2 oxygen atoms. Ozone molecules have 3. Ozone is generated in the stratosphere at 20 to 50 kilometers above the sea level. It is present in significant amounts. In the stratosphere, it is produced by the action of high energy radiation from the sun striking some molecules of oxygen and converting them into ozone, as you can see in this diagram. In the recent times, children, you must have heard about the ozone depletion, and it is an alarming situation for all of us. So, the ozone decreases by sunlight acting on a number of pollutants in air. These pollutants are emitted by jet aircrafts and by the hydrocarbons from automobile exhausts. So now I will be explaining the process of depletion of the ozone layer. The CFCs are regarded as the main culprit for the depletion of the ozone layer. The CFCs, or the chlorofluorocarbons, are synthetic industrial chemical compounds made by human beings containing chlorine, fluorine, and carbon atoms. They are relatively inexpensive to manufacture. These CFC compounds, commonly called freons, when released, break down in the stratosphere and produce chlorine atoms, which are 6 times more effective in destroying the ozone layer. The CFCs are used as propellants in aerosol cans, refrigerants in refrigerators, air conditioning, and as solvent cleaners in microelectric industry, for which there is a worldwide demand. The CFCs which escape through leaks in these gadgets during the foam blowing processes and from waste dumps reach the stratosphere unaltered, where they are dissociated by the strong ultraviolet light. Scientists are also worried that the ozone layer is being affected by pollution. Nitrogen oxides emitted by jet aircraft, especially supersonic airliners, are slowly destroying the ozone layer. Radioactivity, waste from nuclear power stations and nuclear explosions in the atmosphere produce large quantities of nitrogen oxides, which get added to the stratosphere. So the situation actually is very, very alarming, and that is why, taking this into consideration, the CFCs have been banned. You must have seen in the electronic stores, in some of the refrigerators, it is written CFCs not used. So because people have understood how harmful these gases are, so that is why their production is now banned. Apart from the man made causes, there are some natural causes also which play a role in ozone depletion. The volcanoes play a role in ozone depletion. Large eruptions give out sulfur dioxide, which speed up destructive chemical reactions. Tropospheric ozone increases, especially in the northern hemisphere, but it is smaller and localized here. Another cause of destruction of ozone layer discovered recently are the solar storms. These solar storms consist of coronal mass ejections and solar flares associated with explosions on the surface of the sun. So these are the other two causes. The largest ozone hole was noticed in September 2000 near Antarctica. The formation of ozone hole has been attributed largely to the activities of man. Ozone depletion resulting in ozone hole is more common to Antarctica where temperatures are lowest. Now see children, this is something even more surprising because nobody lives in Antarctica. So why is it that the depletion of ozone has occurred mainly over Antarctica? So, after a lot of research work, the scientists found that the amount of depletion of ozone varies with seasons and latitude because they are responsible for variation in the intensity of sunlight. Scientists soon discovered that the decrease of ozone in the upper stratosphere depends on latitude and the decrease is strongest over the South Pole. So, the large scale depletion over Antarctica was due to its extremely low temperature and the presence of stratospheric clouds. So, due to bitterly cold Antarctic winter, the stratospheric ice clouds promote production of chemically active chlorine and bromine. This in turn leads to ozone destruction when sunlight returns in the Antarctic spring. On the other hand, the Arctic atmosphere, though cold, does not get cold enough for the creation of a fully developed ozone hole. So, this is the reason. Now, children, just a repetition of what I had told all of you. Because of the extremely low temperature, the stratospheric ice clouds, because over Antarctica the temperature is very low, so there are a lot of ice crystals which promote production of chemically active chlorine and bromine, which in turn leads to ozone destruction when sunlight returns in the Antarctic springtime. So here in this diagram, in this slide, you can see the depletion of the ozone layer over Antarctica. The ozone layer is vital to human life. In its depletion and absence, the excessive radiation of ultraviolet rays of the sun would render man and animals blind, cause skin cancer, reduce immunity, destroy many aquatic and microscopic forms of life, damage crops and flora on Earth. So, ozone depletion is actually a very alarming situation. You must have heard about global warming. The sun emits its energy as heat rays consisting of radiation in the infrared portion of the electromagnetic spectrum. The balance between the sun's rays that strike the planet Earth and the heat that is radiated back into the space determines the temperature at the surface of the Earth. So, some of the heat is absorbed and retained by the Earth and by the objects on its surface. The heat which has been absorbed by the Earth's surface is re-radiated as long wave radiation, about which we'll be studying in the coming chapters. However, in the recent times, much of the heat is not able to escape through the atmosphere into the outer space because it is absorbed by the greenhouse gases which are present in the atmosphere. So, carbon dioxide is actually behaving like a glass of a greenhouse, and it is warming the air in the lower levels of the atmosphere on a global scale. So, global warming, children, is actually the phenomena of increase in temperature, global mean temperature, because of the increased concentration of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere caused mainly by the human activities. Now, children, this slide very clearly shows what actually is global warming. The rise of the average temperature of the Earth's atmosphere is referred to as the global warming. Now let us see what are the causes of global warming. The first is the destruction of ozone layer. As we have studied just now only, that due to the depletion of the ozone layer, the stratosphere, which protected us from harmful ultraviolet radiation, now is weakened because the ultraviolet radiations are able to reach the surface of the earth. So as a result of this, because of the penetration of the ultraviolet radiations, because of the depletion of the ozone layer, there has been an increase in the temperature. Excess accumulation of some greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, methane, water vapor are responsible for disturbing the energy balance and thus increasing heat on the surface of the earth. So as I had already told you that carbon dioxide and these greenhouse gases actually behave like a greenhouse. They allow the heat to enter the earth's surface, but they do not allow the heat to escape. Now, because over the years the concentration of these greenhouse gases has been increasing, so they are absorbing more heat than actually should be absorbed. So as a result of this, there has been an increase in temperature. The third cause is deforestation. Clearing away of forests and forest ecosystems on a large scale have also resulted in global warming, because children, trees, they absorb the excess carbon dioxide. You all must be aware about this. And because of the large scale deforestation, now the trees are not there to absorb or take in carbon dioxide. So this is also resulting in global warming. So children, these are the various causes. Burning of fossil fuels. Because of the burning of fossil fuels also, there's an increased concentration of greenhouse gases, which is again resulting in global warming. So these are the various causes. The atmosphere is being destroyed as a result of global warming, and this actually is a very, very critical situation. So, we all know that the ozone layer screens out more than 99% of the incoming solar radiation. Ultraviolet radiations of these wavelengths are harmful to most forms of terrestrial life. So, because of the global warming, what is happening is that there will be a rise in the sea level. It is predicted by the year 2100, the oceans are expected to rise between 2.5 and 6.5 feet, and it can have disastrous effects on human habitations, especially the coastal areas, the low-lying islands, and a lot of people are going to get affected. Many towns and cities could even get submerged underwater. Because of the increase in temperature, there will be a change in the precipitation pattern as well. Warming of the atmosphere will increase the moisture carrying capacity of the air, because when the temperature increases, the air expands, so its capacity to hold water vapor also increases. While the troposphere warms up, the stratosphere will cool down. This would cause widespread changes in rainfall pattern due to change pattern of air mass movement. rainfall patterns. In some areas there will be very heavy rainfall, in some areas there will be drought like situation. There will be a radiation imbalance. Radiation imbalance means, children, there's actually a balance between the radiation coming into the atmosphere from the sun and the radiation which is given back by the earth. So because of the global warming, there has been a radiation imbalance, meaning it is absorbing heat, but it is not allowing all of the heat to escape out. So many of the species are expected to shift slowly poleward or towards high elevations in mountain areas. The trees may also get damaged, the trees may die. Many species may also not be able to migrate fast enough to track temperature changes, and they may disappear. The agriculture pattern will also get affected, because when rainfall and temperature conditions change, then obviously the agriculture pattern will also get affected, and there can be drought like situation which may result in shortage of food crops. Then water resources also impact. However, children, there's a lot of controversy regarding the impact on water resources. We all agree that global freshwater conditions may worsen by 2025, mainly because of population pressure. Then diseases, because of the changes in the temperature and precipitation pattern. When you must have seen, especially when the temperature is high, when the humidity is high during August, September, early week of October, there is an increase in dengue cases. A lot of fever breaks out. So because the temperature and humidity conditions will be high, it will be a favorable condition for the growth of virus, different strains of virus, which may result in many kinds of diseases. So these are actually the impacts of global warming.